Post details an elderly, egotistical president shielded from reality by a slavish coterie of loyalists. Never said that word before. So ailing, mendacious, egotistical, and that's from media outlets that spent 4 years smooching Biden's wrinkly ass. They were so far up his butt, I'm surprised they didn't diagnose the cancer.
Greg Gutfeld just lit up former President Joe Biden with a comedic flamethrower, torching every stumble, gaffe, and mumbling word salad from his time in the White House. From wandering off stage to awkward air handshakes, Gutfeld turned Biden's baffling moments into a ruthless masterclass in political roasting. No cue card, teleprompter, or friendly media spin could shield Biden from this unfiltered takedown. If you thought late-night comedy was dead, Gutfeld just brought it roaring back with his sharpest Biden roast yet.
President Biden boasting about how you should be thanking him this Thanksgiving.
Well, this past week, as Americans gathered around their own kitchen tables for Thanksgiving dinner, that was our goal, to give them a little more breathing room. But from turkey to air travel to tank of gas, cost.
Greg Gutfeld came in swinging, not with fists, but with that razor-sharp comedy that cuts deeper than a scalpel dipped in sarcasm. His target, standing on the metaphorical stage with vacant smile and wandering gaze, was none other than Joe Biden, the walking teleprompter crisis. Gutfeld skipped the warm-up and went straight for the jugular, painting Biden not as a president, but as a heavily medicated mascot for policies his own team can't even explain.
It's a train wreck of a fact check. Yes, Reuters invites hilarity by fact-checking obvious parody, telling its readers no such luck. Biden doesn't really chase the ice cream truck. So it's no secret the big guy enjoys his ice cream. That's just one of the reasons why Dr. Jill calls him Mr. Softy.
According to Greg, the Biden presidency isn't so much a functioning government as it is an extended senior moment with global side effects. He quipped that Biden is like your great uncle who gets lost in his own living room, but still insists on driving the whole family across state lines. It's not that Joe has no idea what's happening. It's that he genuinely thinks he does, which makes it so much worse. Gutfeld marveled at how Biden can talk about fixing the economy while looking like he's searching for his missing teeth.
Guy's big ad buy comes one day before Robert Hur will testify about his report claiming that Joe is an elderly man with a poor memory. Biden will be taking his angry man shtick on tour and hit 3 swing states this week. Over the weekend, he gave us a preview of what senile moments you can expect.
Greg had an absolute field day mocking Biden's speeches. He joked that listening to Biden talk is like watching someone try to assemble IKEA furniture without the manual, glasses, or the faintest clue. He'll kick things off with a bold statement about inflation, then veer off into an unrelated tale about a cornfield in Delaware that nobody asked for. Sure, the words are there, but they're strung together like Christmas lights thrown in a blender. Half the time, it sounds like someone hit shuffle on 1980 slogans and diner ramblings.
As we speak, he's actually lobbying Baskins and Robbins to make a flavor based on little girl shampoo. Although, when Joe says sprinkles, it means call the urologist.
And those pauses, oh, those legendary Biden pauses. Gutfeld said it's like watching a buffering video in real life. You sit there wondering if he'll finish the sentence, nod off, or suddenly reboot like a government-issued Roomba. Sometimes he leans in and whispers like he's about to reveal where he buried the National Gold Reserve. Other times, he shouts random words out of nowhere, like a man possessed by a rogue thesaurus demon.
Joe raided Mar-a-Lago with the feds. Now he gets a taste of his own meds. That's good. Yeah. Stop it! You're biting into the time. The White House admits that more classified documents were found, this time at one of Biden's homes in Delaware and in his garage. But it's cool, man, because that garage was totally locked.
Gutfeld shredded Biden's leadership style, comparing it to electing a screensaver. It looks like something's happening, but it's really just floating shapes and a light show while nothing actually gets done. Greg painted Biden as the commander-in-chief of confusion, where the biggest threat isn't foreign power, but whether Joe remembers which room he's in. He gives off the vibe of someone who walks into the kitchen and immediately forgets why. Except now he's signing executive orders and delivering foreign policy speeches from that same kitchen. Greg joked that under Biden's leadership, you practically need a loan to buy eggs and a financial advisor just to afford gas. And when Biden insists the economy is strong, it's like a magician saying, "Trust me, the rabbit's in a hat," while you can see it hopping out the back door. Gutfeld mocked Biden's obsession with empathy, saying Joe thinks nodding and squinting somehow count as actual problem solving.
Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress that I can support this right, and I promise you, we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Biden could show America his razor-sharp mind by debating Donald Trump, but so far, he refuses to commit.
Mr. President, will you commit to a debate with former President Trump?
It depends on his behavior.
Greg said Biden's answer to rising crime, border chaos, and the education mess is to host a town hall, mumble something vaguely poetic, then wander offstage like a bewildered dad at Coachella. He joked that putting Biden in charge of America is like handing the power grid to a lava lamp. It looks cool, it glows, but it won't power anything and eventually just makes a mess. Then he dove into Biden's infamous moments, shaking hands with invisible people, turning around to speak to nobody, and freezing mid-sentence like someone accidentally hit pause on the remote. Greg quipped, "We're one press conference away from Biden mistaking a houseplant for a diplomat." According to Gutfeld, this isn't governance. It's basically Weekend at Bernie's with taxpayer funding. The only thing truly being built back better is a frantic damage control machine that fires up every time Biden goes off script, which, incidentally, is every single time he talks.
The cold, sweet treat is perfect for cooling down after a long, hot, sweaty day of aimlessly drifting around the White House like a tumbleweed. But now Reuters, which claims to be a news outlet, is getting mocked online for actually fact-checking a clearly edited video of Biden getting distracted by an ice cream truck and walking out of frame.
On foreign policy, Gutfeld roasted Biden as a guy who tries to calm down a bear with a bedtime story. When it comes to handling hostile nations or explaining complex treaties, Biden has all the diplomatic presence of a sleepy substitute teacher who's lost a syllabus and just wants a class to nap quietly. Greg pointed out that America's adversaries don't fear Biden. They watch him like a curious science experiment, waiting to see how long it takes for someone else to quietly step in while he nods off. Then Greg tackled the border crisis, calling it the greatest disappearing act in modern politics. Not because the problem's solved, but because Biden pretends it doesn't exist even as it plays out on live TV. Gutfeld joked that under Biden, security is a mood, not policy. The borders are wide open. The fallout is real, and Biden's somewhere sipping oatmeal through a biodegradable straw, while a staffer nods enthusiastically behind him. Meanwhile, Americans face utility bills like an unwinnable game show. Guess the price, pay double, and hope the lights stay on.
She's going to win.
Joe Biden was the ultimate catfish.
Yeah.
We were all online being told, oh, this is a congenial centrist. Yeah, swipe right. I don't know how to do these dating apps.
Yeah.
But anyway, then you find out it's not him at all, but some guy in a bathrobe smoking meth.
Yeah.
God, how many times has that happened to me, huh?
And then came Greg's roast of Biden's endless image rehab attempts. He said it's like trying to polish fog. Every so often, they will Joe out in his aviators, as if a pair of cool sunglasses can erase the mental fog, the stumbles, and the bad decisions. Gutfeld joked that if throwing on shades and doing an awkward jog down a hallway could fix America, Biden would be the next founding father. Instead, it just makes him look like he wandered out of a retirement home in search of a jazz concert. Greg also took aim at the student loan fiasco, mocking Biden's plan as pure financial cosplay. One moment, he's a hero of the indebted. The next, he's smacked down by courts and common sense, pretending a money fairy will swoop in with a miracle fix. Gutfeld laughed that Biden's economic strategy is like playing Monopoly while forgetting you already mortgaged Boardwalk and can't remember what the thimble does. 40 years in politics doesn't mean you know how to run a country, Greg argued. It just means you've been loitering in the building while someone else did the real work.
Alzer and Chancellor Farabee, thank you for joining us as well. And for families across the country, the school year.
That's hilarious. I would say the footage does seem manipulated. There's no way Joe can move that fast. But give him a break, he's got oil cancer.
Then there's Biden's facade of unity. The constant performance of being a great unifier while labeling half the country as extremists. Gutfeld says it's like inviting everyone to a family dinner, then insulting their haircut, their kids, and their car before they even sit down. You can't claim to heal a nation with one hand while pointing fingers with the other. Greg quipped that the only thing Biden's really unified is America's collective desire to mute political ads forever. To wrap it up, Gutfeld noted that Joe Biden might be the only modern president who could doze off in a meeting and somehow get praise for his restraint. We live in a world, Greg said, where Biden blinking twice in the right direction counts as progress. That's not leadership. That's a national exercise in lowered expectations. America didn't elect a president, he argued. They inherited a long, awkward voicemail from someone who forgot they'd already left a message. The punchlines aren't drying up, they're multiplying. And Greg Gutfeld, ever the sharp-eyed observer, has no plan to put the mic down anytime soon.
Justice Department's appointing a special counsel to review whether Biden mishandled classified info. So how is the White House dealing with this? Come on, you just got to trust the process.
This is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice. We're going to respect the process, and we're just going to allow the process to continue. Let the process continue. It's an ongoing process. I am genuinely saying to you, there is an ongoing process. This is all part of the Justice Department process as part of that process. And I said because there was a process of justice throughout this process, we just laid out the process that was taken, and that is the process.
Yeah.
Gutfeld leaned in even harder, saying Biden's presidency feels like a never-ending airport layover. Nobody planned for it, nothing works, and everyone's just trying to survive until it's finally over. He compared Biden's policy announcements to flight delays, always delivered with a fake smile and immediately followed by chaos. One day it's a green energy summit. The next he's whispering about unity into the mic, while a train derailment goes ignored, like a bill nobody wants to pay. Greg joked that Biden has basically turned the White House into a live-action weekend at Bernie's. Except instead of sunglasses and beach parties, we got cue cards and baffled press secretaries doing damage control, like it's an Olympic event. Every time Biden turns to leave a stage, there's a 50-50 chance he's about to walk straight into the drummer or trip over a flag. And yet the press still claps like he just discovered gravity. Gutfeld wrapped it up by mocking Biden's clumsy attempts to connect with everyday Americans, which only make the disconnect feel even bigger.
But what if the Biden cover-up was by design, orchestrated to protect not the president, but to enable a radical agenda? Anyone could tell Joe was feeble. But what if Biden's decline wasn't caused by disability, but by debility, meaning he was purposely kept exhausted, confused, and miserable, like an overnight shift worker or Fox and Friends viewer?
Gutfeld laughed that Joe tries to talk like a blue-collar guy while being chauffeured to billion-dollar fundraisers and breathing in the aroma of artisan candles back in Delaware. Biden talking about the working class, Greg said, is like a reality show host claiming they understand homelessness because they once stayed at a Motel 6. All performance, zero proximity. Greg also ripped into Biden's awkward social media moments. Those overly scripted clips where he clutches an ice cream cone or squints at the camera like he's trying to remember what year it is. Gutfeld said they're basically retirement home commercials disguised as presidential content. He joked that if Biden ever did a TikTok challenge, it would be called Find the Exit. And as the crowd metaphorically leaned in, Gutfeld grinned, knowing this wasn't just comedy, it was catharsis. America wasn't laughing at its president out of spite. It was laughing through confusion, the fatigue, and the sheer absurdity of it all.